minute and 43 seconds. Test, test, test. Wait, put my face. Good morning. Hi. Good morning. Hi. Hi, everybody. We're getting ready to go live for the show. Good morning, Carol. How are you? I think that was you based on your picture. How's the camera? Is that high enough? Close enough? I'll do a... Oh, too much. Too close. Good morning. Hey, everybody. We're about to do Soul Sanctuary. Go over to www.kzsm.org. Is it written anywhere? I don't see it on stuff, but it's kzsm.org. I don't see stuff around. 21 seconds until we're live. Good morning.
Good morning.
Sorry for you to walk out on camera. I didn't know. Be surprised.
Oh.
I think it was just your torso that was on camera.
Oops. I was wondering who you're talking to. My bad.
Ooh, 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 ooh. Get ready, sister. We're going hot. Good morning, Soul Sanctuary soldiers. Good morning, everybody. How are you? How's everybody? I'm coming in a little bit hot. Hold on, let me turn me down. It's weird adding amplification to my voice because I'm pretty loud anyway. But good morning. I'm so glad that you're joining me. We're here on Soul Sanctuary. If you are watching on Facebook, you can go to kzsm.org to listen live. Right now, I'm pretty sure we were having some difficulty airing yesterday, but I believe that you can hear us now at kzsm.org. We're going to be here for the next hour, chopping it up, talking about Soul Sanctuary, soul kind of stuff. Today we're going to be talking about whether or not your personality is too intense for other people. And I'm sure you know that I have a whole opinion about too intense, whether or not you should simmer yourself down so that other people will be comfortable or not. If you know me at all, you know probably not. That's not the best, most honest way to kind of move through the world. But we'll talk about that today. If you're into numerology, today equals 21. And so today is a day for the universe. So today is a day for all possibilities. So anything that you've been working on that you haven't really been able to work out, any kind of entangled, complex situations, today is a day to chomp at it because we have the universe card, and that means all possibilities. Absolutely anything can happen. And so take another stab at it, just for the day. See how it goes. I'm probably going to jump pretty quickly into this because there's 11 different points. And it says 11 signs that your deep personality is too intense. And that's intimidating to others. Your deep personality. What is a deep personality? We'll see what they say. Hi, Brandy. Thanks for joining. Hi, Frankie. Thanks for joining. And hi, Megan. I haven't seen you in a long time. Thanks for joining. If you're joining, you can go listen at kzsm.org. So you can listen live if you have to jump in the car or something like that. Hi. Thanks for all the hearts. I haven't gotten so many hearts before. That's fantastic. All right. Now, how do you do this show and not be distracted by what people are saying? Well, I'll figure it out. I promise I will. Okay, so 11 signs that your deep personality is too intense, or so intense, that it's intimidating to other people. Let's see. You are honest to a fault. Okay, so who in here, who watching is honest to a fault? If you're honest to a fault, send me hearts. It's not what you think it means, Sagittarians. Just honest. We're still going to keep our tact in place. I have to make a special note for my Sag babies because they have a very thin line between being honest and not taking others' feelings into account. But that's a whole different show. We talked about it last time too. But being honest to his fault. Now, what this says is, when it comes down to it, you value your honesty above all else. In fact, you will have an uncomfortable conversation if necessary to ensure that you can get straight to the point and put the truth out there. After all, if you don't have the truth, what do you have? Just remember that not everyone is prepared to hear the truth. And ain't that the truth? There's been so many times when I've sat down to do tarot readings with clients, and when we start digging into it, all of a sudden there's a big problem. Because we've got honesty coming up. We've got some information, some interactions coming up that they may not be ready to talk about. And so it starts to get, the conversation starts to get stinted, and I'm like pulling information out of them like, Mother, may I? So whether or not you're ready for the truth, that's a good question for us to ask ourselves, right? Because we ask for the truth, and we go in and we say, hey, what's going on? You ask somebody, what's going on? And when they start telling you, and it has to do with you, and you've offended them or something, all of a sudden the truth is a problem. All of a sudden, hey, maybe not your truth. And then you start putting, well, let me give you the truth about today. I don't want to hear about 20 years ago, but if that's what their truth is at the time, that's what it is, right? And so whether or not you're prepared for the truth is a good question. I see Brandy. Brandy says that she is honest to a fault. Do we have any other listeners who are honest to a fault? Let me know. I'll see your thumbs up and hearts and all that. So the second point is that you're a problem solver, not one to wallow. Yes. Lack of wallowing has gotten me into a lot of trouble in this lifetime. Because the way that I was raised and the way my personality is now, if I do something wrong, I certainly will apologize, and I'll mean it from the bottom of my heart. But that's it. There's no groveling that happens. I don't crawl around, stabbing myself and just bleeding so that you'll feel better. And I can't tell you how many relationships that's come in and made everybody uncomfortable. Because once the apology happens, I think it's time to start rebuilding and move along, and that can be a little bit quick for the person who's offended, depending on how I offended them. So that feels like this inability to wallow, and I really can't. I can't. I don't. Once you know it's broken, let's fix it. What is the rehashing of it? What is the digging into it about? I don't get that. I don't get that. Megan said that she's learned to lie. I wonder what she'll just find that for me. And what does that mean? Hi, Trina. Okay. So you don't wallow. Now, what this says about not wallowing is, if you're in a difficult situation, you're not a kind of person who's going to sit around wallowing in the struggle that you've been handed. Instead, you'll instantly get to work trying to find a solution to the problem, working on getting yourself out of there and on to better things. So yes, that part of my personality is too intense. I have to check yes on that box for this particular one. I don't wallow. And if not wallowing means your personality is too strong, man, what are the people who I'm hanging out with made of? See how instantly I find a way to make it about them and that their issue, not mine? That's probably on this list too. We'll see what it says. You aren't afraid of intimacy. So if you are not afraid of intimacy, then that part of your personality may be intense for others. It says, it's surprising how many people in today's society claim to understand the importance of intimacy and then shy away from it completely when the opportunity presents itself. You, however, understand that intimacy comes on many levels, and each is necessary in its own way in your relationship, including not only romantic relationships, but also friendships and family connections. This includes actions as simple as a hug or a pat on the back. So if you have an intense personality, you may find that intimacy is not intimidating to you. And I wonder, a good question for me, or a good essay, would be comparing intimacy or an affinity for intimacy with lack of boundaries. I wonder how they cross-section and how they Venn diagram, because I feel like I am really good with intimacy, but then I also know that there's some boundary work that I need to do. Like, I have what's called a leaky aura, and so my aura leaks. It has something to do with where my astrological chart is. And so that means that I can, kind of float in between dimensions and that kind of thing without being somewhere very, very not necessarily grounded at all times. And that has to do with, hi Jenna, that has to do with my boundaries not being strong. So intimacy versus boundaries. I wonder if there's a really good study or a reading about that, because I feel like I could probably learn from that. The boundaries versus intimacy. Now I'm all thinking about that. So that's something for another show. Well, if you're not afraid of intimacy, then that's a personality trait that can be intimidating to other people. Let's get to number 4. We'll do this one more before we slip into our first break. And hopefully everybody will continue to go ahead and check in and talk to me through Facebook Live. I'm happy that all you guys are joining me. If you're not listening on the radio, please tune whatever you can to KZSM.org. That's where the show is broadcasting live, and numbers count. So if you can go and bounce over there, that's fantastic. I'm not sure how the delay works or anything, but you guys can let me know. The last one we're going to do in this section is you're incredibly intense in all that you do. Who knows somebody who's incredibly intense in all that they do? And do you know if that person is a fire sign? Fire signs have a tendency to be intense at all times. Fire is Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, pretty sure. And so if you have one of those signs, if you know someone who's in there, hi Rory, then you know they're pretty intense at all times. They bring the heat. They are the heat. Such a great quality. They kind of power through all things, and it's really great to be around. There's only like 4 or 5 different situations where it's not great to have that kind of charge ahead, full kind of energy. But those situations where it's not appropriate, it's really inappropriate. So we like that intensity. I like that intensity. And full disclosure, as a Taurus, Taurus can get a little intense. Only about one thing at a time. But, the whole thing with the matador, when they hold the red cape, and that's what the bull goes after, that's how intense we can get. We really can focus and drive forward. But just at one thing at a time. Fire signs can do it for lots of things at once. But that is an intense personality trait. So it says, you intend on living life to the fullest, experience everything available. This causes you to lead your life with a level of intensity that most will fail to understand. The few who understand you will share your passion for finding enjoyment in every moment. And those people you need to surround yourself with. I think you should surround yourself with those people anyway. Just because they're busy trying to find the passion, the fire in life. They're busy looking for where life is, and it's so important. I think one of the reasons that we get the kind of depression that we have and the big numbers of people falling into kind of this despair and this inability to look forward is because we don't have enough of that intensity. If everything's dull, what's the point? How do you even get up in the morning? And so if you can find 1 or 2 of those people to get yourself around and get that passion kind of going in and around you, I think that is fantastic for keeping yourself up and moving forward and into good directions. So let's go ahead and get through our first break so I can come right back with you guys. If you're checking in on Facebook Live, hi everybody. Stay with us. We're going to have a 90-second break. And on the other end of it, we'll get right back into these intense personality thingies. And we'll be going until 9 o'clock Central Time. So share the video and listen on KZSM.org. We'll go into the break, and I'll see you right on the other side. There's the buttons I need to. Buttons! Okay. Coffee. Hi! Hi, Brandy. Brandy's really talking to me today. Can y'all hear me okay? Where's the Monitor volume. Hey guys, Rory's watching. Extremely intense. Average of 5 people we surround ourselves with. Good job. One more commercial or promo, and we'll be right back. Good morning, whoever just joined. I can't see your name yet. Oh, there's one more. No. Oh, I put a song there. Some Beatles checking in. Put that there. Okay. Getting ready to go right back into. No, I'm at Brandy. I'm at the KZSM radio station. I have a show. It's on KZSM.org, and I've been doing it for about 2 years. This is a big old fancy radio mic. Thank you. But yeah, I'm at the studio. One of my fellow DJs is here, chilling. Let's bring the Beatles on down. How do we'll do this. Hey everybody, had a little bit of the Beatles checking in there. Very awesome. Make sure I have everything back where it's supposed to be. Great. Hey everybody, thanks for coming right back. Hi Megan, I'm glad you popped back. If you are listening on KZSM.org as well, that's fantastic. And thank you for joining me on Facebook Live. So we are about a quarter of the way through. We're talking about different traits that may mean that your personality is too intense for the average bear. And as we get through these, if you find that you're checking yes to more than a half of them, I want you to let me know your sign. We'll see if they're related, right? So let's review real quick. The first 4 were, you're honest to a fault, you're a problem solver and not one to wallow, you aren't afraid of intimacy, and you're incredibly intense in all that you do. So of those, what can you pop yes to? I can say yes to all of them so far. So 25% my personality is too big for most. Honest to a fault. I don't know about that. I think that I might be a little bit I think I pick tact over honesty. I really do. When those two things are up for, when there's a choice between the two. Just because everybody's struggling and nobody needs your ass to kiss, and so I feel like I probably spend a little bit more time trying to make sure that whoever it is I'm giving the information to is ready to receive it. And so one, not so much, but the other 3, I definitely get to put a checkbox next to. So what's the next one? You ask a lot of questions. A lot is in caps. So if you're always asking questions, then that might mean you have an intense personality. This reminds me of my oldest son, who immediately, upon telling him anything, you'll see his little eyebrows furrow. You can tell he's thinking deeply. And he'll ask you at least 2 questions to qualify what you're saying, what it means, how it affects him or his brother or his family. But he always digs deeper beneath whatever it is that you tell him. So you can't really come to him with a whole bunch of BS. He won't let it fly. I mean, you won't be prepared also for the kind of what he's going to ask. I understand the kinds of questions he asks now because I've been around him for a while. But it's hard to be prepared for what the question will be because, man, he has a way of really trying to understand very intimately what it is exactly that you mean. He does not suffer fools very well. He gets that from me and his dad, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, it's really a great experience. If you ever want to make sure, like have a sounding board, my oldest would be great for that because he'll give you the questions that will help you get prepared for your real performance. And that was asking a lot of questions. And it says, while this may come across to others like you're interrogating them, the truth is you want to get to know them on a deeper level. and more meaningful level. You aren't asking questions for manipulative reasons, just to find out information to use for your benefit later. You genuinely want to understand others. So asking questions is the best way to do that. If you guys saw that meme a couple of months ago now, I guess, where there was a teacher that said, hey, half the kids in here are going to fail. And then one of the students said, so you really suck at your job, right? I could hear my oldest saying that. And he wouldn't even be being a jerk about it. This is how he just would be, well, that analyzes this way. He's just very analytical. And I think that that's along the same lines. Like, what is the truth of the gist of what it is that you're saying, what you want me to understand? And which is good, because you have to, have your feet underneath you, be grounded when you're talking to him. And I don't think that's a bad quality at all. I will encourage it. So not only am I too intense, but I'm making two more to send out to the world and deal with people. Okay, so let's go to number 6. You refuse to waste your time waiting around for others. Now, I just want to have a moment of silence for that one. Refuse to waste your time waiting around for others. This has been, it's like a linchpin. It's been like such an intense concept that's come up in my marriage. Where my husband, who's a Virgo, he has more tolerance for allowing other people to have more say in what happens and how it happens, what happens with our day and that kind of thing. And I cannot deal with it. I can't do it. I can't do it. The minute that, like, the control of what's going to happen next is, like, taken out of our hands, I'm so uncomfortable. It's really, really difficult for me to sit on my hands and wait and see what happens. I want to have a say in it. I want to have as much control over it. I don't want my plans to be ruined or just waiting on one person's ability to come through, because first of all, that's too much pressure on that person. And the reason that I say that is because if they don't get it right like 2 or 3 times in a row, my opinion of them changes. Now I gotta feel all kinds of ways about you. Now I gotta, like, not include you when I have plans come. Like, the repercussions are so big that I just don't want to put that kind of pressure on one individual person or one individual relationship. I just want to keep it myself. Maybe that's just the way that I justify trying to keep control of it. Y'all let me know. My more my more cerebral guests tell me. But refuse to waste time waiting around for others. And then the worst reaction I have, I think, is having my time wasted, especially if I've done something specifically to not waste time. And then it ends up wasted anyway. Oh, I want to scream and stab things with pointy ice picks. This is where I need to pull back. It's oversharing. Hi, Randy. So that is the best way to get my goat, is figure out some way to waste a whole lot of my time. So there we go. Here we are on number 7. You're like a human lie detector, able to see through the BS. Ooh, where's my human lie detectors? Do we have any in the room? Any listeners over the air? Are you a human lie detector? Hold on, I'm a little bit hot. Who are my human lie detectors? As soon as somebody have you ever been in a situation even before the person starts talking, like the amount of time it's taken them to respond feels like inaccuracy. It feels like they're reaching too far. They're trying too hard. Or they answer real quickly and they haven't thought about it. Like that too. There's just, you have hairs that stick up on the back of your neck. Now whether or not you react to it is a different personality trait, but that you can detect when somebody is not coming straight, when they don't have straight for you, they don't know what straight is, they're not fixing to be straight. They're really trying to manipulate the situation. So you're like a human lie detector. Let me see what this says about it. It says, when someone is being insecure or dishonest, it's like a red light goes off in your mind, warning you that they are screwing around. As someone who values honesty, as we previously discussed, there's nothing you see as a bigger deal breaker than someone who tells lies. You have no interest in sticking around for those that don't respect you enough to be transparent with you. Yeah, I'd much rather have a truth. I always said I'd rather have a thimble full of real than a whole room full of fake. Because at least with the real, if I'm dealing with it, I'm dealing through it. I'm dealing with actuality. Don't put me through a whole bunch of changes that weren't even based on reality. And I think that speaks right back to refusing to waste your time waiting around for others, right? Who has time for that? I'm a whole mom. I'm a whole wife. I'm a whole tarot reader. I have an entire life. And Megan purchased a BS button, she says. So I don't like want to spend time dealing through whatever it is that you're trying to convince me of. I would much rather talk about things that can change your life, like healing mommy issues and daddy issues and intimacy issues, like things that can actually change the course of your life for the better. Let's do that. Let's not do the lying. And who's lying? What are you lying about? Who has time to lie? Like, first of all, I can't keep everything straight. Let me just be clear. Back when I was younger and out in the streets, just like regular out in the streets, not extra. Well, maybe I was extra. The point is, I could never keep anything straight. Like, I wasn't really good with dating a whole lot of people at once and stuff like that, because I could just never keep anything straight. So I'm just a real honest, straightforward kind of person. I don't remember what I told this person versus what I told that person. And plus, my face is like a lie detector itself. If I'm not telling the truth, you can definitely read it all up and through my face. So I have to find some part of it, some part of whatever it is I'm selling that I can attach myself to, or you will definitely know it, and I won't be able to convince you of anything. My face I just have the slightest little squints in my eyes or something. I don't know what it is. It's like a cartoon character though, but honesty happens, whether I mean for it to or not. So I do give honesty, but also that human lie detector. I really do. And here's a question for everybody who's in the Facebook group. What do you do when you are in the middle of somebody telling you something that is absolutely untrue? When somebody's definitely lying to you, what do you do? What's your response? Do you call them on it? Do you just say, I don't know if you got that right? Do you kind of regard it as a mistake? What do you do when you are being lied to? What's your response? If you have to think about the answer, that's cool. Just, get it to me when you can. You can give it to me here, or you can always do it in a Soul Sanctuary group, which is Soul Sanctuary MMF on Facebook. That's what I should have put in my description. I'll add it when I post the video. Soul Sanctuary MMF. That's for the show. And if you're not listening on KZSM.org, please go to KZSM.org. You can listen to it live, too, while we're sitting here talking. All right, so we are now to number 8. This is like perfect timing. This thing is lining up just the way that I wanted it to. Great interaction in the room. Thank you so much, everybody who's participating. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being up this morning. Look at all the smiles I've got this early in the morning. I've only had like 6 sips of coffee. You got your coffee? Good job. Getting ready to take this Saturday by the horns. Okay, number 8. 8's my lucky number, and it says, you are incredibly open-minded. What a fantastic trait. Why is that under here? Why is it under here for what would be too intense? Incredibly open-minded, that's a beautiful trait. Who doesn't want that? Don't we all want open-minded and open-minded friends and stuff like this? Let's see what it says. Too many people have masked closed-mindedness today with the illusion that they are merely staying true to their morals or beliefs rather than admitting that they have simply not tried to understand. Instead, you are open to trying to understand new ideas, concepts, and ways of living. You may not agree, but you are always willing to learn more. Absolutely. That really does describe me. I really want to understand, like, how does someone get there? How does somebody get to where they are living from? Like, one of the things I watch is the hoarding shows, My House, whatever they're called, Hoarding, Buried Alive, and that kind of thing. And one of the things that fascinates me about that is, how does somebody get so stuck somewhere in their brain that the only remedy they can feel is to put stuff around them? Like, I feel like I understand it from afar, but how does somebody get stuck there, and so stuck there that friends and families don't shake them out of it, and that kind of a thing? Like, how do you get yourself so removed from everyday life that you can have like actual animal carcasses like laying around your house. It's so far from what I experience as reality. It fascinates me. And part of my open-mindedness is like I really want to watch and see if I can pick up on how does somebody get there. It's so different. And that about every single lifestyle that's so different from mine. Like, how do you get there? How do you live that way? Because I know that your mind can only do what you have justified. The human brain can't do anything that's not justified. It can't do it. So that means somehow in your brain you've made that correct. And how can that action have been made correct in your mind? It fascinates me. So that open-mindedness. Do you consider yourself open-minded? Can you listen to the opinions of others? Even if their religion is different from yours and their values are different from yours and their morals are different from yours, can you listen to how they got to that place? Are you open-minded? Good question. And I think that's a fantastic personality trait. We have another break to get into, so we will chew through that. And then we get to talk some more. Open-mindedness. Let's go ahead and go through the second break. And I'll see you guys in just a minute. Yes? Play? Play. See, what are people saying? Depends on if I actually care about them or not. If it's a homie, I'll call them out. If I don't know them, I'll smile and nod and walk away. Thanks, Frankie. Great. That's a big no for me. I need to be more open-minded. Good job, Brandy. Good admitting that. Folks who are invested in a narrow narrative do not like other possibilities. That's true. They don't like other possibilities. You're right, Megan. That's absolutely true. So I need to know all the different narratives. Like, what are the different possibilities? Because I want to know, and I want to be able to tell my kids, this is a different way that this could go, and that kind of thing. So I think I'm open-minded. Maybe I'm not. I tend to believe stereotypes. Does that make me closed-minded? Because they're based on something, most of them. Hey, Chris, my cousin's listening. Also, go to KZSM.org to listen. We are about halfway through, a little bit more than halfway through, looking at these different personality traits. I'm going to run out. I have to have more to talk about. Let me move this down. Thank you, guys. I'm so glad you're joining me. It's great to see everybody. Thanks for sticking with me this morning. Okay, I was just saying hey, and thank you to everybody who's listening on Facebook. If you're on my Facebook Live, right now it's just available. I think it's just the friends and family that are already associated with me on Facebook. I will post this on Soul Sanctuary MMF after I get home and stuff like that. Directly after this, from 9 to 1 today, if you're in the area, please come down to the farmer's market. I'll be down there today giving tarot readings and pendulum readings. I have a purple tent. So if you're in the area, please come down and see me. And we can chat. You can tell me what you thought about the show, what works, what does not work. And I'll be happy to discuss that with you. Today we're talking about whether or not your personality is too intense for other people. And I think once we get done with it, I can do a deep dive on what I think about too intense for other people. I really do think that you should live your fullest at all times, right? What is everybody saying now? Be great. I think you should be great in your fullness. All right, so we're on number 9. There's only 11. So we're going to stretch these last couple out if we can. Number 9 is you always have a clear picture of what you want. All right, pause. Big no. Can't check that. That is not a personality trait that I have. So if you always have a clear picture of what you want, send me some hearts. Let me know. Write me a note about it to Soul Sanctuary MMF on our page. I don't have that. That is not a personality trait that I possess. I do not always know what I want very clearly. I have a general idea of the direction I'd like to go in. But as far as a really clear vision of it, I do not. Every time I listen to a lot of stuff with Iyanla Vanzant, and whenever she says, have a vision, make sure you have a clear vision. Every time she says that, I'm like, oh, yeah, I should do that. But it's every time she says it, which means I never have it. So if you are a person that's figured out how to always have a clear picture of what you want, please let me know. Now, and it would be good to understand how that relates to boundaries as well. Maybe the reason that I don't usually have that clear in my head is because I don't have that really good boundary set up, that relationship with boundaries. What this says about it is every situation you enter into, you do so with the end already in mind, and you refuse to settle for anything less. Your goals are always a top priority, which can lead you to say or do things in your quest to achieve success that will make others feel uncomfortable. Just be careful not to be too goal focused, or you can lose sight of the beauty in the little moments in between. Well, that's good. That's good. I think I'm all the little moments in between, just because those goals just aren't that straight. They just don't come across that that clearly for me. I don't see that the same way. So I don't usually have a clear vision. So if I want to become more intense, I guess that's part of what I could use. One of the things I could do to be more intense, if that makes sense, or that makes whatever I'm going through easier for that time. Okay. 10 is you're a creature of habit. I don't have that one either. I don't think I'm a creature of habit. I think habit is like mundane to me, and it makes me zone out and not experience the fullness of every moment that I possibly could. And so I don't think that I have that one either. Who in here is a creature of habit? So schedules and consistency are your friends, with a solid and predictable foundation upon which you build your life. Sounds very earth signy to me. And so, hey, Meech! And so if you are a person who is a creature of habit, I would imagine, first of all, that you're probably an earth sign. Maybe, no, just earth. Probably earth signs would probably have a bit more tendency to be creatures of habit, because we're just practical, stable influences. We're very practical, and we have our feet on the ground, and for the most part are grounded people. But I do not represent earth signs well in that habit, because I'm not a creature of habit. I always want to be. I've always wanted to be a person who could meal prep. I've always wanted to be a person that could have this like schedule that they stick to, and I think that that's good, and it's a good for a good life. But it's just this thing that I'm over here like groping at. I've never done it very well. I'm not predictable. I love my spontaneity, and see, that's the thing. I don't think there's a problem with being spontaneous. This is why I probably don't fix it very well, because I think it's like the spice of life. Somehow I'm going to have to find more value in predictability, stability, and kind of routine, so that I can get myself to work through that better, because I don't do that part well at all. I am not a creature of habit. Okay, we're ready for this very last one, and then we'll kind of do a review, and I'll see what you guys have been saying about how you feel about these things that make your personality too intense. You have no interest in shallow relationships. Oh, we're back to me. That's me. I really don't. I have inappropriately close conversations with people I've just met. Megan, you can attest to that. I think we knew each other for about 4 or 5 hours before we had this super, super deep conversation about stuff in our past with each other. And I think that we kind of healed each other. So maybe you relate to me on that one. So, yeah. No interest in shallow relationships. I don't want shallow relationships. Like, if I'm in a relationship with you, I want to be able to trust my kids with you and vice versa. You can trust your kids with me. Those are the kind of people that I want to be around. So if I have to run out of here real quick, I don't have to, gather them up and run with them, because I'm around somebody who cares about me, who will make good decisions, who can have a deep relationship with me, and vice versa. You can definitely have one with me. Especially if I spend any time talking to you, pretty good chance that we can have a deep relationship. I don't spend a whole lot of time on shallow relationships. I don't do that well. I'm not catty. I don't have some of those traits that are usually associated with women nowadays. With those shallow, like I don't have frenemies. I don't have time. I don't have time. Frenemy. Most of my friends, like, whoever is on here who's a friend of mine, my friends or my sisters, like almost instantly, you are inside. We love each other. That means if you, get kicked out, you come into my house, on my couch, love. Just love. I don't have time for that likey weird stuff. And so that's very much me. Let's see what this says about it. This says, you're not the kind of person who is going to enjoy a one-night stand or a casual fling. I'm not speaking to that. If you get into a relationship, you're all in. You want to connect with somebody on a deep level, establishing a meaningful relationship. And anything less is a waste of your time, in your opinion. Very good. Like, I don't know why they went directly to romantic relationships with this, but they did. For me, because I've been married, over a decade, I'm talking more about friendships. First, it's hard to get friendships as a mom. I don't know why. It's really difficult to kind of connect with and open up with and share with another mom. It's hard to get those relationships. But for them, I want them to be deep and very, very connected. We don't do like I don't do like I like you too. But immediately attach as closely as we can for me, and that's just kind of where I am with relationships. And at this point, I'm getting older. I'm in my mid-40s. I'm not even going to say what age I'm fixing to be. But at this point, I don't have time for that kind of thing. And I started to go. There was a point. Maybe like last year, I was thinking maybe I'm just trying to get too much from one person. Maybe I'm thinking that all these different parts of the relationship need to come from one person. And maybe I need several different people to cover those parts. Maybe I need this kind of friend and that kind of friend and this kind of friend and only a little bit for people to attach themselves to. And that's how I can get the fulfillment of all that I want from relationships. And I tried that, but parsing people into segments didn't work for me. I need them to be everything all the time. I guess I just require a lot. How are you when you're picking your friendships? These are your friendships. Like, do you immediately need to be able to trust that person around your husband, right? Or do you immediately need to be able to, whatever the thing is, what do you need to be immediately comfortable with people that you allow into your circle? What do you need to be immediately comfortable with? And as far as friendships, let's talk a little bit about, are you making sure, hi Sandy and Cynthia, are you making sure that you have a variety of different types of friends? Are you making sure that you have friends that are driven? That you have at least a couple of friends who aren't deeply engulfed in self-hating behavior? Do you make sure you have some high-quality boss babes around you for the women and alpha dudes for the guys, I guess? Like, do you make sure that you have this variety of relationships that you can kind of lean on and depend on? Think about it like this. If you woke up this morning really upset, which friend would you call about what type of upset? Do you have a couple of different people for a couple of different upsets? I have my aunties that I'll talk to about relationships and kid stuff, right? And then my sister friends, I'll talk about mostly kids and different ways to raise them right now, because we're all doing it in this day and age. Who do you reach out for what type of upset? Is there a variety? One of the signs of intelligence is, hi Dad, my dad's here. One of the signs of intelligence is emotional intelligence. The more different types of people that you're friends with, the more emotional intelligence you have. Which is kind of cool. Do you have different types of people that you are friendly with? Or is it just one type? Are they all the same person in different skin? Good kind of to think about. And while we're getting ready to go into 2020 and we're all sloughing off those relationships that haven't worked for us and getting ready to step into our power, or whatever affirmation you're using to make 2020 the best year of your life. I've heard a lot of that, and I really hope it works for you. As you do that, well, think about what different types of relationships you have and how you're setting that up to be successful for you in your lifetime. So we're going to go ahead and slip into our last break of the day. We've gotten through our whole list of 11 things. Let's... My dad calls me my family nickname in the middle of a chat. It's Boomer. Hi, y'all. Okay. Let's read back through them, and then we're going to slip into break, and then we'll be right back on the other side. So, the 11 signs that your personality is so intense that it's intimidating to other people. We've got, you're honest to a fault. You're a problem solver, not one to wallow. You aren't afraid of intimacy. You are incredibly intense in all that you do. You ask a lot of questions. You refuse to waste time waiting around for others. You are a human lie detector, able to see through BS. You are incredibly open-minded. You always have a clear picture of what you want. You are a creature of habit, and you have no interest in shallow relationships. So mine was 9 out of 11. 9 out of 11. I can say yes to. What was your number? We'll poke it in here in the group, and I will look at it while we go into our last break. I'll see you guys on the other side of it. Hey everybody, just reading through this. Nice, Megan. Is it warm?
Kind of cool out there.
Oh. I thought you were opening the window because it stinks. I mean the door because it stinks.
No, I'm getting ready to go to the library.
Oh. The volunteer things today.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Represent us well. Our tribute's going to the library. There's a volunteer thing down at the library today if you're in the area. Okay. I need to have inspirational band motivated women around at all times. Yes, definitely. Motivated. Try to be not the... Everyone's too intense for someone. 8 out of 10. Great, Dad. 8 out of 10. Great, Brandy. It's fantastic. I'm so glad you guys are hanging out. I'm going to read through... Yeah, I think I'm going to talk a little bit about how I feel about being too much for anybody. Because it's an important topic. Here we go. Back on the air. So after this whole thing about whether or not your personality is too intense or not, I can talk a little bit about how I feel about your personality being too intense. So if it turns out that you have more than half, most of the people who responded, including myself, I had 9 out of 10. My dad had 8 out of 10, and Brandy had 8 out of 11, and Brandy had 8 out of 11. If you find that you are around people for whom you are too intense, first of all, how can you tell? How can you tell that something that you're doing, something in your personality, is too intense for the person you're talking to right now? Do they recoil? Is there a shudder that happens? Do they shut down and all of a sudden stop sharing with you? How do you detect that? It's a good question. But if you detect that and you are now 100% or 99% sure that you're too intense for the community that you're in, do you just simply change your community? I would call it elevation, but let's just say change because I don't want to be offensive, and get around people for whom you're not too intense. I think that it's so important to be able to be yourself in your life. If you can't at work, then at least at home. If you can't at home and at work, then at least wherever you go for your spiritual support. I think that there needs to be a place where you can exist exactly as you are without having changed yourself to make anybody else more comfortable. Ideally, you can design your life in a way where you don't have to change yourself to make anybody comfortable at all. That's always you. You show up as yourself and do you as you without being making it comfortable for anybody else. One of our listeners said, "F the normies." That's right. Like for people who can't deal with what you offer, they don't need to be in your space. Why are they sharing your space? Why are you making it okay for them if it's not okay for you? It's important that you can exist as yourself because, listen, you were put here with your unique talents, your unique gifts for a reason. And it wasn't so that you could look just like the person next to you. It's to express your unique version of the universe, your very own self. And being able to do that, for one, you have to have the amount of self-care and self-confidence it takes to go ahead and show up as yourself and let the chips fall where they may. If you're around people who can't deal with that, then all this does is purify that and bring that to the surface. So now you know. Now you know that person couldn't deal with who I am, and so I need to go be around that person. Unless, they pointed out to you something that you want to change, right? That would make you feel better, that you think would bring something better out of yourself, and you want to try to do that thing, then stay in the same company. But once you're comfortable with who you are and how you are, and I'm not saying just be the kind of person that says, well, that's just who I am, and fold your arms and hold your breath. That's not living. That's not life either. That's just kind of holding on to something staunchly for not really a good, usually not very good reasons. But I am saying to make sure that you have environments in which you're comfortable being exactly who you are the whole time. It's so important. It's beautiful that you're different from the person next to you. The scars that you have, you earn them. And you can talk about them and you can share them to help heal other people. But especially when it comes to close relationships, your really close friendships, your spouse, your parents, if you can figure out how to be yourself in those relationships, how much more do you get to learn? What would their feedback be like? What do they have to teach you about how you've presented yourself on the earth? Something, right? They'll have something to share with you. My dad's saying, and this above all, to thine own self be true. That's right. To yourself be true. Come through as yourself. Good morning, Marcy. Come through as you. And see what happens. What if it doesn't work? What if everything fails and falls all around you? It'll be failing and falling all around you, not some weird representative of you that has nothing to do with how you really feel or your integrity. So that it does. So what? Clean it up. There's action in there. There's life in there. There's life in showing up as exactly who you are. There's a unique gift that you have to share with everybody, and it's impossible to do that while you're busy trying to be someone else. We don't need someone else. We need you. We all need you. And so I hope that today, since this day is the card of the day is the universe, all possibilities are open. I hope that today, instead of making whatever changes that you make in your mind and in your personality to make everybody else more comfortable, you decide, nah, today I'm going to show up like me, and let's just see what happens. You can't break everything in a day. Let's just spend the next 24 hours being exactly who you are. If you're really, really intense about something, be really, really intense about that thing. I'm intense about dolphins. I'm intense about Prince. I'm intense about Seinfeld. I'm intense about tarot, right? People think that's like nuts, you know what I mean? I've had to have my whole family accept that. Here I am, like, practicing this kind of Wiccan thing, but I'm still the same person, and I'm showing up as who I am. And see, if you can be comfortable showing up in your very own skin, and for a moment, just think about what it would do for your inner child who was rejected for whatever it is that you're made of in the very first years of your life. If you were to allow that being to breathe and to run around in the sun for a little bit, how would that make you feel? Wouldn't that change you on a molecular level to support yourself in exactly who you are? And you get to. You're an adult now. If you're listening to me, you're an adult. No kid could sit through this kind of thing for more than 5 minutes, except for my own. And that's because my husband makes them. Do you know what I mean? But you're an adult now, so you get to show up and wear your scars as badges of courage. If you survive terrible things, you're a survivor. And stay on that side of the street just for today and see how it resonates with you. See how your inner child feels. See how much better you sleep when you kind of show up as you and you being supported by an adult who loves you, which is you. You get to be both and you get to do both. So I hope that you do today. If you do find you're too intense for people, I hope that you either figure out how to coexist with that person when you're showing up as you, or you get around different folks who can take you. Because I think it's about developing into yourself and moving forward with kind of the self-knowledge, the self-acceptance, the self-love. The world needs so much more of that. So much more of that. We are lacking that, and I think that we can see it in the kind of consumerism and in the kind of attacks against humanity that we're seeing that are happening. People aren't valuing life anymore. Our babies can't take being bullied. like there's so many things that are just falling by the wayside because people are no longer accepting themselves. And I don't even know what that looks like in 20 years, but it doesn't seem like it's good. It doesn't seem like it's a good direction. So let's get back to that. If you have any thoughts about that, I would love for you to share them with me. You can do that at Soul Sanctuary MMF, like Mary Frank, and you can, and that's a Facebook page. Listen to the show every Saturday at 8 a.m. We'll be back here, and as long as I have a tripod, which my dad got me, thanks, Dad. I'll do a video of it as well. I'm so appreciative of you guys that stuck up with me the whole show. Brandy, thanks for hanging in there. I see you, Megan. I see you, Freddie. I see all the guys that kind of hung out with me today. I really, really appreciate it. Again, if you're in the area, come on down to the farmers market. I'll be there in about 15 minutes. And we'll be doing readings today. The first hour is always cheaper, so make it down fast if you can. And if you'd like a reading yourself and are not in the area, you can go to hightarot.com. That's HAITAROT. You can also find High Tarot on IG and Facebook. And just reach out to me and tell me when you want to have a reading. We do it by video and different stuff like that. I hope that you have a beautiful Saturday and you don't spend it buying toys for kids who are going to be ungrateful about them anyway. Make them a handmade birdhouse. Or something that they can learn from. Lots of love, everybody. Thanks for joining me for Soul Sanctuary. And I will see you next week. Bye. We're out. Thank you for joining me, everybody. I'll see y'all next week. Thanks for watching the show. If you have any show ideas, let me know. Lots of love and laughter and life I wish to you. Bye-bye.